right. Good morning, friends. This is Dennis Miracle. Today I'm going to be making the Kensington purse. It is a regular vertical, it is a horizontal purse like I usually make. And I just wanted to show you the things you needed. You need 2 pieces of batting, one 7x11, one 6x11. You need 2 different pieces, coordinating pieces for the front of your bag, both cut 7x11. I'm using a piece of cloth and a piece of vinyl. You need something for your back. I'm using the same cloth, 7x11. You need 2 pieces of lining fabric, 7x11. Here's 2 pieces right here. You need a zipper that's at least probably 12 inches long, and here is that zipper. And if you want to put, I'm going to put a little wristlet thing on the connector on the side, and so you need something like this. This is not the one I'm actually going to use, I don't think. It's one I just had that hasn't been used. But this either grosgrain ribbon or vinyl, cut 3 inches in length, and this is 3/4 inches wide, and take a key ring and stick in between it and staple it at the top to hold it together so it doesn't come apart when it's being sewn. And I think that's, and of course you need the correct thread, whatever is going to complement your fabrics. So with that being said, I'm going to run my first step, and then I'll show you what that looks like. It'll give an outline of the purse and show us where to put the zipper. So let me do that and I'll be right back. Alrighty, you can see that I've ran the first step. It outlined the bag and shows me where to put the zipper. And there are 4 lines, obviously, 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you're using a number 3 zipper, not plastic, what is the word I'm looking for? Well, I'm sure you know it, nylon zipper, it should fit perfectly between lines 1 and line 4, as this one does. And just for your reference, these 2 lines here, lines 2 and 3, that's where in the next step the actual stitching will be placed. So if you're using some other kind of zipper, to plan accordingly, so you put your zipper where these 2 lines will be sewing it down. You'll know where to put your zipper. So let's put the zipper in, and I always tape it on both ends, and a little piece right here at the very edge in the center. Okay. Alrighty, now I'm going to stick this back in the machine, and it's going to, step number 2 will sew down this zipper. So I'll be right back. Alright, you can see now that the zipper has been sewn down. I'm using black thread. So now take your hoop and turn it over to the back. And take your first piece of lining fabric and place it right side down. And you want to put the edge of the fabric against this 4th line down, right at that line. Make sure you're okay on both sides, so you're not so it's going to catch on both sides. And then let's tape this down. And I have been to Walmart 3 times in the last 5 days, and I cannot remember to buy tape. So I'm probably going to run out of tape real soon, but just zero memory. Okay, there. Now pick your hoop up and let the piece of lining fall over to the front, as you see, and then take it and just fold it over several times and use a small piece of tape and tape it to the frame of your hoop. Is that, can you see that? Did you? Yeah, I think that's in the, I'm trying to watch to make sure everything's in the camera. Otherwise, it's no good to, no point doing it. So then take your first piece of, let me see, whatever you're going to use for the top part of the bag. And I'm going to use this, to me, beautiful piece of vinyl. It's shiny. I think it shows up on the camera somewhat. So anyhow, take that and place that face down, and place it face down right edge to edge with the zipper. And again, making sure that you're okay on the sides, because once or twice I've made bags and discovered I had no fabric, not enough fabric to cover on the one side, which was not real bright, but that happens. All right, now let's put this back in the machine, and it's going to, the machine will stitch down a row of stitches right here to stitch down this front piece of fabric and the lining piece of fabric. So I'll be right back. All right, let's look and see if everything's sewn down. This is sewn fine. Let's turn it over to the back and see how that looks. Yes, this is sewn fine, so no problems there. So let's take our piece of, 6 by 11, the smaller piece of batting fabric, and place right below the stitch line. Let me see, I think right like this. And then take and pull your piece of vinyl down and be, you know, careful. I want it to be taut, but I don't want to pull it off of the, out of the frame. Let me take and, if it were fabric, I would just iron it and it would, you know, lay there fine, but since it's not, I'm gonna just tape it down. And let's, the next thing will be a placement stitch for the second piece of fabric. So let's do that, and I'll be right back. All right, you can see the placement lines have been completed, and now take whatever you're going to use for your secondary fabric, which will be at the bottom of your bag. Take and place it. See, this is, looks like this is the correct orientation, I believe. Take and place it, well, this goes up so high. Basically place this just maybe, let's, oh, I'm about to get off on the side. Oh no. All right, place that right like this, or even a little farther up, basically covering the zipper. Let me see if I'm okay down. Yes, I'm fine. Okay. And I'm going to also take a piece of tape, because this might slide on the real glossy vinyl. So let me tape it down and put it back in your machine, and this will do the tack down, and then we're going to be trimming this top fabric here. And so let's do that, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, we're going to take our applique scissors, and that's weird. Okay. We're going to take our applique scissors, and we're going to cut the bottom part away. Excuse me, we're going to cut the top part away. We're going to cut on this side of the stitching, right up through here, all along, just like this, and off the side. So I will, and when that's done, we will be able to see now this top part, the vinyl again. So let's do that, and I'll be back in a moment. Alright, you can see I've done the trimming, and the next step is satin stitch to cover these raw edges, and I hope I've got it cut short enough so it will cover the edges, because I'm not so hot at doing this, despite how many bags I've made, I'm still not so good at cutting away the for applique. So we'll see. So I'm going to put it in the machine and run step 6. So I'll be back. Alright, you can see the satin stitching has concluded. It looks, I didn't trim as well as I should, unfortunately, and I can see a few places where little pieces of fiber are sticking through, but that's going to have to be the way it is. Anyhow, the next step we're going to do is going to be quilting on this fabric here at the bottom part of the bag. So that's step number 7. Let me stick this back in the machine and do that. And I know step number 8 will be quilting on the top here on the vinyl, but first the fabric gets quilted, so I'll be back in a few minutes. Alright, step 7, quilted this. It's a very simple quilting. I think it's attractive. And now step 8 will do this upper part. So let me run that, and I'll be back. Alright, that was step 8, which did the quilting here. I wanted something kind of reserved looking and not real bright, and so I used black thread for this quilting here, and I think I like it. You can, I hope you can see it in the light of the camera. But anyhow, that was step 8, and now for step 9 we need to loosen this piece of lining fabric and let it roll back to the back. And we need to take out these pieces of tape here on the sides. And so let's pull it down where it's nice and taut, and then tape it down. And our next step will, one other thing actually, I'm going to remove the stabilizer from the back of the zipper. And let's see if I can get it going right here. It should just peel right back. And it is. I'm just using my thumbnail to remove it. So there we are. Okay, so let's put it back in, and the next step is simply going to tack down or sew down this back piece of lining. So I'll be right back. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we need to remove this piece of tape up here that originally held the zipper down, and open the zipper about 3/4 of the way, and I'm going to take this little connector piece that I've made to put a strap on, like for a wristlet. I'm going to take it and attach it right here and tape it down on this side. The outside of the stitch line is right here, so this is outside the stitch line. And make sure that you take some tape and tape down this piece of metal, because if you don't, it will get under possibly your presser foot and cause a disaster, which we can do without disasters. So the next thing we're going to do is take whatever we're going to use for our back piece of fabric, which is the same as the front piece, and let me make sure it's oriented correctly. Okay, this looks like the correct orientation, so just fold it over this direction to keep it in that same orientation, and take and cover what's already, wow, that's close. Okay, I'm fine on the sides, fine on the bottom, and it looks like I'm at least 1/4 inch above the zipper, which is what I always recommend. And I'm going to put a little piece of tape here just to hold it on each side. And let me see, the zipper's open. That's the most important thing, so I think I'm ready to do step 10, so let me do that and I'll be back in a moment. Well, I did forget something. I'm going to rerun step 10 again. Okay, because I forgot to put down the piece of batting. So, I'll do that again and be right back. Alright, I corrected that omission and no harm done. And our very last thing we have to do is turn the hoop over to the back side and take our last piece of lining and place it over the design, making sure it's at least 1/4 of an inch above this top line here. And that looks good, and hopefully I've got just enough tape to finish this. So, do you see where am I in the camera view? I hope. Okay. Okay, let's stick this in and run the last step. Alright, now the sewing has been completed. We can remove the design from the hoop. So let me do that. Let me see. I always check my hoops to make sure there's no tape. Well, I see some tape on the bed of my machine. Take that off. Okay. Now, let me see if there's any tape on this. Nope. Alrighty. So, it looks good. Everything looks nice. Take your, here's my better scissors. Let me grab them. Okay, I always cut from the lining side. So, take and cut at an angle to this point right here, just like this, and leave about 1/4 of an inch all the way around. So just follow the stitch line, leaving, like I say, about 1/4 of an inch. Cut in at an angle right here. There we are. Make sure you... Okay. Alright, throw all of this away because it's not needed any longer. Just scrap. Alright, now you've got your lining piece number 1, lining piece number 2. All the rest of this, let me turn my iron on while I'm thinking of it, all the rest of this needs to be cut off. So take and cut as close as you can, but do not cut into your lining fabric itself. So maybe 1/8 of an inch from the lining fabric. Okay, and I'm going to keep this piece of this vinyl because I can make my little connectors with it. I keep the vinyl if it's big enough, which that is. Okay, and let's look and see what we've got here. All right, looks good. Okay, let's go ahead and reach in and turn this bag out for the first time. And give it a bit of a press, and then we'll be going to the sewing machine and doing a little bit of sewing to close that gap up. Okay. Oh, I just remembered as I was doing that I've got vinyl here. I don't think I melted it, but so hopefully it's fine. Okay, let's take the shorter piece of lining fabric and fold it in and give it a little crease there, and take your other piece of vinyl, the longer piece, and tuck it in and just push these little cut out tab pieces over towards the exterior side. And then take and press it. Okay, now go to the sewing machine, and you might need to close up this area between where my fingers are, where the gap is open. So go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you back in a moment. Alright, I have sewn that closed. Take your scissors and trim these little pieces from the sewing. There's two on one side and one on the other. And you can see the line of stitches right here. It's all closed up. Now go ahead and reach in and find that piece of tape, which is right here. Remove that. That was holding down the key ring. Open your zipper as wide as it will go, and turn your bag out. Let's see what it looks like. Now take your zipper, and now let me get this little piece of thread there. Okay, take your zipper and mold it here like this to how it should lay, and then take and close your zipper. All right, and now I'm going to take my pressing cloth, and definitely not going to put the iron directly on the vinyl. That would be tempting fate. So let's give it a quick press. Don't dilly-dally. Okay, and then turn it over. And I won't use the pressing cloth here, but all right. Okay. Oh, that's hot. And let me see. Did it catch everything right here? Yes, it did. That's quite beautiful. Like I say, I wanted something subtle here, not to stick out like putting white maybe, but I think this this subtle look. It's a very good look for this little bag, and I'm quite pleased with it, and I think it's interesting. If you are interested and purchase this pattern, this is called Kensington. I hope you'll make something pretty for yourself or for someone you love, or a friend, or for a friend or a co-worker. And I always take the time to thank those who continue to support me and to encourage me with their words, with their kind words, and I so much appreciate that. And I hope you've enjoyed watching me make this today. It's always an adventure because I do this. You can see I'm sewing. I don't cut anything out. If I make a mistake, I let you see it, because that's how life is, and that's how sewing is too. So thank you all very much, and I'll be back in the next few days with, Lord knows, I've got 25 more designs probably to make videos of. So I'll be back soon, and have a happy new year, and be blessed with health and happiness and joy, and take care. Bye-bye.